It's being live streamed. Okay. Now I'm gonna shrink it. Now I've lost my share. Let's go ahead. I might need your help again. Because we hit it.
What was that? Is it on there?
Something with like this.
Yay.
It looked like my clutter, like all of like the Visty stuff is like.
I got most, I didn't see anything in there.
Go back into presentation. Okay, this is going paperless with Desmos Activity Builder. My name is Corinne Branstetter. I am a classroom teacher, so the speech about imposter syndrome really struck a chord with me. I am not anti-paper. This is just about using less paper. So you can see this is me teaching last year. I'm a math and EL teacher at Riverside High School in Loudoun County. You guys a chance to read that. So we are going to combine using Desmos Activity Builder, Equatio, and Google Slides to create a less paper student experience in the classroom. This is not about the calculator. This is about the activity builder. So you'll see some of these great examples of calculator use in here, but they weren't made by me. We are using Desmos Activity Builder, which is at teacher.desmos.com, Equatio, which is a Chrome extension. I know where it's still. Google Slides and Google Chrome. So here's some of the things that I missed last year, right? I missed interacting with the students. I missed my colleagues. I missed watching kids collaborate. Here's something I didn't miss. Oh, it's like such a lag. It's so weird. I did not miss this copy machine, which I have said goodbye to forever. I did not miss carting my papers around in this cart. I'm a cart teacher. I did not miss pushing them all around, and I didn't miss running all these copies, right? So before class, I would have to run all these copies, fight with the copy machine, etc. So here's some of the advantages of using Desmos Activity Builder. There's no stacks of paper, there's no copy machine, no lost homework, right? I always have students who are like, I lost it, I can't find this paper that you gave me. None of that. You don't have to walk around and check homework. You can kind of look at their formative work with a glance, see who's done it, who hasn't. No lost notes. So, you know, as a parent, I'm always wondering, why does my daughter have to carry this huge binder, right, of paper for the entire year in her backpack? You don't have to do any of that. You have access to the activities all year. And you don't have to create a separate flip chart or use another PDF annotator. I actually just teach from the activity I built. So today we're adapting this folder, which I'm going to open up now. I think that's the one thing I didn't. Yeah, you can see that. And this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do all of it. This is going to be super weird, I think, to hold this mic and try and.
If you want to use the lectern mic, you can do that as well.
Okay.
Just drop it down.
Okay, so let's get started. Go ahead and turn it off.
Turn the handheld off and then use that.
Can you hear me now?
If I don't need it, yeah. There you go.
How about now? Oh my gosh. That's weird. Okay. Okay, so let me just keep this open. This is the end of the day for me too. All right, so we're going to start at teacher.desmos.com. I'm just going to open regular teacher.desmos.com, and then please, I encourage you guys are like so far back. Ask me questions while we go, interrupt me, build with me, whatever you want, right? Like anything you need. So over here on the left, it's where it says custom activities, that's where we're gonna start. And usually I would start with creating a new activity, which is over here. But I'm gonna use this one that's already built because I built it for this, this event. And I'm just gonna open this. Oh, no, I can just go into it and click at it. So we're going to go into this and click at it. And this is the inside of an activity. And there's a lot of options over here, which I'm like trying not to walk. Encourage you to explore. We're gonna look at some of them today here, but not all of them. So the first thing I always do when I'm building a Desmos activity is I create like a welcome page for it. And the reason that I do that, I'm gonna show you guys. There's like so many extra things on my typical. So if I go to all my custom activities, I like to have them nice and organized. So I might change the color and say, you know, when I'm doing a unit, I'll do like a red day, then an orange day, then a yellow day, right? And so the kids can find them pretty easily if they're, and I can also win, right? So if I have some type of convention that helps me stay organized. The way that we're gonna do that is I have these Desmos activity graphics. It's literally just a square. I think it's like 600 by 600 on Google Slides. We're gonna click on the slide that we want. You hit File, you download it as a JPEG. You're just downloading it as a picture. And you can select media and literally drag it. So I'm going to show you that again. It's just a way to stay organized. Again, and if you want, right, you can put that same image here. Again, it can be dragged in. You'll see it change here. And this is where you can turn the calculator on and off as well. So I'm actually going to cancel there so it doesn't change mine. So again, hit the little plus sign over on the right, add media, and you just drag it in. Good, thumbs up, it's medium, thumbs down, classroom teacher, I'm used to getting like some. I'm used to this by 4th block, and also, we good? Everyone good at home? Yes, I hope so, great. I can't see you. The next thing we're gonna do is add an attendance question, right? So when we in the math classroom at my school, we like to always kind of start with like a low stakes, kind of like a would you rather, or this or that. So I have an entire, and this is linked in the PDF that I posted to Sketch. Sometimes you can create your own. I think I did a Google search for Desmos starter screens, Desmos check-in screens. And you can pick one that you like, which duck are you today, right? Where are you at, what's your temperature? You can take anything that you like. So let's say we like the sloth question, how are you feeling today? You can literally just hit Control-C. You can see here it says copy, now paste into Activity Builder. I'm going to come over, add another slide, and I just hit Control-V, and it's going to copy that entire slide into my activity. So there it is now in ours. We can choose another one. I used the Nick Cage one, and yeah, it makes me laugh. Right? There it is. Which one doesn't belong where you at today? I think there was a really cute Zelda one in here. Any one of them? I think here's a Mario one. He has and you can just Control-V that into your activity. Okay. So in a typical, so we can see like, this is a typical paper lesson from before, right? I'll just be really loud, I'm sorry. You can see that I would have to like run the warm up, run the classwork, run the practice, run an exit ticket, grade all that stuff by hand, enter all of that into the grade book, right?
And so I just want to take a look at just this warm up. So this is not additive inversions, and I did try to create this activity so that the math is understandable to everyone. So you have this box that says, what can I add to this to make zeros, right? Or what can I multiply this to make ones? And I thought, how can I adapt this into Desmos? And so this was the idea that I had, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks with this slide. So I provided them a space where they can kind of work through it in the math, instead of just like getting this verbal prompt, what number can I add to 3, right, to make 0. So they have a place that they can draw, and they can draw on this. And then they have a place where they can enter the math here. And then I think this one tells them if they got it correct. So this one, because it's a warm-up for the kids, you kind of want to build that confidence. They want to know if they're getting it right as they move through it. And I'm going to show you a couple things, so a couple features in the slide that make that happen. So you can see here, again, this is just, here's an example of that slide that I created in Google Slides. I'm going to download it as a JPEG again. I just hit download, JPEG. And I'm going to build this activity. I'm going to build a slide with this -5 one. So I'm going to add a sketch. I can use any background I want. I'm just dragging it in again. So now there's my math slide. I'm going to add a note, find the additive inverse. So I'm literally just copying this exact same text from before, and I'm going to add a math input. Math input is a number. A text input would be like a string of text. Math input's like a string of text, like a math equation or a number. Okay, so if you want to be able to check the dashboard at a glance, and you want to be able to say, so you can see up here it says dashboard preview. If you want to be able to kind of quickly, you've taken attendance, you're watching the kids do a warm-up from here, and you want to be able to look at your screen and see who struggled with the warm-up and who got it right. You can see that if I enter the correct number here, oh, this one's actually missing it. That's okay, we're gonna fix it over here. So, oh, this is missing it here. All right. So a trick that we can do to make that happen is you want to take your sketch page and you write read only. And you can see it kind of knows what you're about to write and make it true. And when you do that, it's not going to look inside this box anymore. The kids can still interact with it, but it's not going to make it affect the correctness of the slide. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you go into the text box and you say, oh, it's still working, right? Correct. Equals correct. I don't know why you have to say correct equals correct. And then you can say correct equals, and it will prompt you through it. So this numeric value, which equals -5. That makes, it shows it to me now. Okay, if I, whoops, it was +5. If on my dashboard here, up here, now I'll get a check mark that shows as correct. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. Okay. So compare with this one, where if I type in the correct number, that just gives me the feedback, right? Whoops, it has to be -3. Guys, it's like too much pressure up here. Remember when I hilariously said, what this dot indicates is there's some type of human interaction is needed on this slide. So it tells you, like, as a teacher, your student inputted something on this slide. It's not going to tell you is correct unless you make that box read only. So on this, we have we also have where the student receives feedback. Sometimes you want the student to receive feedback, sometimes you don't. If you have this little, if you see this little box here, this little green box, that means there's some type of computation layer going on this activity. And, whoopsie, we're gonna see what that looks like. And I'm literally just, I'm gonna tell you what each line of code does here. Disable evaluation, true, turns off the calculator. Correct, which you saw before. And then this one here gives students an actual feedback. So when I'm doing a warm-up, this is literally how I do this. I copy it, and then I paste it into the next one. And when I'm doing a warm-up, I might want my students to, I'm actually gonna fix the number at this time. It was actually 5, not -5. And you just want it to match whatever slide you're on. So like a naming convention that I usually do to make it easy for myself. This is slide number 8. I'm going to name this input 8. So I know that I need to 8. I know I need to change the input on input 8. So if input 8 is submitted and is correct, the kids will get a check mark now too. So we just kind of like layered something on every single. And I'll show you what that looks like. So now it's no longer reading this. Okay, I can draw anything I want there. I can add the 5. Now I, as a teacher, get the check mark that says it's correct, right? But when they hit submit, they'll get the feedback that they got correct. So kids can be working on this while you're taking attendance. You can quickly glance at your screen, see what you need to go over. All right, good. Yes, all the way in the back. Okay. Something that I like to always include, so like before I start introducing you guys, like taking a note section or something, is a pacing slide. I'm going to show you guys why I do that at the end when we actually run this activity and try the pacing. So this just tells me, this is like a visual cue for me as a teacher to say when I start at the beginning of class, I'll have them come in and I can just paste them from slide 1 to slide 9. And then they can only access the warm up while we were doing warm up, if that makes sense. So I like to just have those throughout my activity. All right, so again, I create my notes in here. You can see here that these are notes. When I want kids to write, I started adding a little pencil so they know now's the time to write. And you can just see, this is just a skeleton note that I created on Google Slides. You can write on here in verse, right? Or you can type on here. You can also type math. Inverse operations are 2 operations that undo each other. And my handwriting is atrocious. Okay. And then again, that was just something that was created as a skeleton node. Download as a JPEG, upload it to a sketch, into a sketch component. Okay. Quick check for understanding in here. So this is one of the things that's over on the left. If you create a new, I like to do these, especially in math, I like to do a lot of checks for understanding. This is a card sort. It's down here at the bottom. And, you know, I was saying this morning, I love, math teachers love card sorts. Do you want me to go back? I'm so sorry, I felt like somebody took their camera out at the wrong time. Math teachers love card sorts. I hate printing them. I hate laminating them. I hate when the kids destroy them. I teach high school. You think that they wouldn't put them in their mouths, but they do things like that. And you're like, no. What is happening? So I just love, this is such a fast, easy way to check for understanding. Card sorts are so great. And you can see that they self-check, right? So it's another thing that if students do it correctly, like right now I have an X, I can see the card sort that they did correctly. So it's a quick check for understanding when I can just glance at a single thing and see if they know it. All right, so the cool thing about Desmos is that you can take anybody else's amazing stuff and copy it into your activity. So this is a perfect example of something that I cannot do. I was saying that this was not going to be about the graphing calculator, right? It's about the activity builder. But this is an example of something amazing that someone built with the graphing calculator. And you can click on this and you could edit the graph if you wanted to. I can't make this, right? Something that we talk about when, I mean, maybe with enough practice I could. I didn't have some time, really. Something that we talk a lot about with equations is keeping a balanced system, right? So I wanted to have something with a scale in here. And this was something that was already created. So you can balance the hanger by adding something in. Oh, look, it's balanced. It's a great example of like this tipping the scale. And I simply copied this over from someone else's activity. I think I probably Googled, you know, one-step equations balancing scale Desmos. And again, I can just hit Control-C, bring it over to my activity, and paste it in. I'm going to show you guys. Which is great. Okay. So usually what we do is we'll have I do, you do one, right? This is an example of a slide that I built using Equatio, the equation editor. So, it's fine. This went much smoother in the morning. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to show you guys that real quick. So if you have something that's a little more complicated, you can't just type it into your slide. That's when you want to use the equation editor, and this is just a Chrome extension called Equatio. And it works on the same, language that the Desmos graphing calculator works on, which is LaTeX. It's different from math type. As you can see, it's pretty intuitive. So if there's something that I can't, like a fraction isn't something that you type very easily, or like x squared. I was showing them this morning, it even has calculus, so the limit of x as it approaches infinity. Oops. Yeah, say a definite integral, etc. And you simply just hit insert math. If I can get to it. It inserts it as a picture, you can resize it, etc. And again, it's just something that you are going to download as a JPEG and drag into your activity. And I'll show you that on another screen. So as a sketch, change the background, drag it in. And you can even then copy multiple, like if you really like this slide that you built here, you can just copy your own slide, paste it, and you can even change change this one background on it. If that makes sense. Okay. Here's a page for students to upload their work. I'll share this activity with you guys, but this has not become, it's not as needed as it was last year, right? But this allows students to take a picture of their work and upload it from your Chromebooks if that's something that you want. I also have students like share, like at the beginning of the year, we did a virtual name tense activity. They share a picture of your family, and you can do that in Desmos. This is just a graph, it's a full page graphing calculator. Basically that you've removed the grid from, and they can share the work that way. So I'm going to show you guys kind of 3 ways to do an exit ticket, and show you what makes this slide special. So there's so many different things that there's different kind of things that you build on here, right? When I'm creating an exit ticket for my classes, I always go to the Virginia Standards of Learning and pull old activities, pull old tests to kind of see, to if they got it, right? Multiple choice is great because it's self-checking. So this gives them a place to show their work if you want to see what they're thinking, and then select an answer, and I get the check mark, right? The reason that I got the check mark on this one is because I have that sketch set to read only. So it's a really simple little piece of CL that makes your life super easy as a teacher. Okay. Another thing that is nice that you can do, so this is a reflection. I teach a lot of special education students, I teach a lot of EL students. So I'm kind of that person that when somebody asks me to do like a exit ticket, right, where they're like, fill out this note card and tell me what you liked or what you didn't like. I can't jump in right away, like I need someone to help me along. So based on your selection, you get a sentence down that's gonna help you start writing, right? One thing that became clear is, so like, one thing that became clear to me is, and it's just different prompts, different sentence stems, and those can be created again in the computation layer. And so I think that this is like can be very overwhelming when you are first looking at it. So what I do is, if I find something I like, right, I like the way it works, so I want to use it again in the future, I have created one activity where I store all my computation layer slides that work exactly like how I want them to work, right? And I just copy them over and change whatever I need to change on it. So it really is just about like big borrow and steal, right? I just hit Control C, copy it into my activity. Here's another one that, ooh, it's not this one. There was another multiple choice. Teachers, no, not this one. I think it's this one. How do you feel about help? What do you need help with? Like, do you know that we have a learning lab, blah, blah, blah. So, or, you know, if you can do it well, then you get to move on. And then I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do this. Done with this. Independent practice. And show you guys. And we'll go into this activity. So there's 3 different ways basically that you can create these slides. You can either create a slide where you get a self-check and you get a note that says, yes, you got it right, yay, or no, try again, right? There is, so I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So again, if I type 7 in the box, okay, I know they got it right because I get the check mark. This is set to read only. And then when they hit submit, they get a note that says great job. Now, if they do it incorrectly, it'll say try again. So contrast that with this one. Okay, I can write on the sketch. I can say the answer is 6. I see that that's wrong because the check mark, the X says that it's incorrect, but they don't get any response. It only works, this one only works if it's correct. And then there's the final one, which is usually what I use when I sometimes want honest feedback from the kids, right? I want them to show mistakes, not know if it's right or wrong. And that's where nothing happens, but I get the check mark so I can see it. So now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like from the teacher perspective. I'm going to let you guys, we're going to publish this and let's run it. And I'm going to make sure that I covered everything in here. Yeah. And show you some other stuff that you can do. That's pretty cool. So when you run these activities, I work with classes, right? So I can assign these to my classes. So like, here's my assigned activities, etc. But because but there's another way that you can do this because we don't have a class in here, right? I always have a sandbox. You can also create a single section code, which is what we're gonna do now. And you guys can give it a try from a student perspective. So if you want to try it, go to student.desmos.com and type in this code. This is perfect. This is just enough that you can see what I'm talking about. The nice thing about this too, so I'm really always pretty, do you guys want it back up there? You good? Anybody want it? Y'all are fine. No one's like, yes, please give it to me. The nice thing about Desmos, two features here that I want to point out. So this kind of this is all your pacing, pausing. You tell how many students you had. You can sort by alpha or by time entered. You can anonymize your students. So if I hit anonymize, it's kind of a nice way for me to share work. Low stakes, right? Like I could say, like, now you're all named after famous mathematicians. It's going to say Dorothy Vaughn up here, and it's going to say Dorothy, whoever's Dorothy out there, will see Dorothy on their screen, right? And I can say, oh, Dorothy has a really nice example here. Do you mind if I present this to the class? Which is nice. I found my students don't care much. It's also good because they're using naughty names, but they can also be hidden, so you can hide someone if that is a problem. So I'm going to anonymize you guys, and I don't want anybody moving past the warm up. So I'm going to hit this pacing slide, and you just literally can click. And so what I was saying before, why I always add these kind of pacing slides is it's kind of like a no-brainer for me. I can just click from here to here, take attendance, ask the questions. And I kind of always have this up so kids know, like, I can see if you're not working, I can see if you're right, if you need help. And I can see at a glance, like, great job, Dana, great job, Richard. These guys have got this, the warm-up correct. And I can also like share work that I find meaningful. So like you can. Right, only one person interacted with the sketch, but you can see that they, like, I can see her work and put it up there. So this is actually how I present my class this way. And I will just put myself in as a student and write their notes on here. So I use this now as my flip chart. It's not supposed to be anything weird. It's just, I'm just drawing hearts for you guys. Let me just think real quick. I'm going to take the pacing off this for you guys. And I'm going to show you a couple of these slides. You guys can continue to play with that if you want, just so that you can see kind of some of the stuff that you can do in here. A numeric info. So you saw these. I'm going to shrink these up real quick. So some of the nice things that you can do is like using a button to check the graph, right? So take out my little pen. If I want kids to solve for y and I want them to try and use the slope intercept form of this to graph the equation, I can have them, they can draw a picture. And then they can use a button to check the graph and check it against their own. I can say, oh, you know what, you accidentally put the y-intercept on the x-axis, or I can see a lot of things like that. But part of what a big part of the Virginia Standards of Learning for Mathematics, at least for Algebra 1, you always have this algebraic component and a graph component. It's like, can you solve this algebraically and graphically, right? And so I really always try to make that connection between the graph and the math, and you can really do that very easily with this tool. So that's one that you can see it. This is one that adds on as you sketch. So I can say, put the y-intercept down and it should show up on the next page. Oh, this is perfect. This is actually for systems. So you can choose a color, draw the line, choose a second color, draw another line, and then ask where they intersect. So you can layer on graphs as you go. You can do it for vertexes, etc. It's pretty cool. LaTeX input that populates a graph. This one's pretty great, which is I'm going to do it wrong, and you'll see an example of what I'm talking about. So say that you ask them to solve for y, right? They move that 5x over to the other side, but they forget that they have to make it negative, and they'll see they did something wrong, but it makes that graphic connection to the math, and they're gonna know this says something's not right. Please try again. You can limit the color palette, you can aggregate data. So like this is fun for attendance questions. We just like, who selected A? Who selected TikTok? Who selected Snapchat? I think. So one of the things that's really critical as a teacher is to always, one thing I like to do is provide completed notes, and I usually provide a video of the lesson. And I just literally, so what I usually will do is preview the activity. Like you can just do the student preview. You can say, oh, this is it, we're inside of it now. Something like this. And I will just screen capture my page. And sometimes I write on here and just screen capture that, paste it into a PDF annotator, or you can copy the blank slides over. So I'm going to show you guys a example of that. Someone have a question? This or that. And so you can see you can either just copy it over from Desmos Activity or the other one. Copy it into PDF annotator. Okay. Is there anything you guys would like to see? This is the vibe in this room is very different from this morning. I think it's because of the size of the room. Any questions? Anything you want to see? Anything you want me to do? Anything? Do you want dinner? Do you want soda? Just want to make sure I didn't leave anything out. There's links copied, like everything is linked in the PDF that I handed out. The sound quality, there's videos, there's a YouTube playlist of how to do all this stuff, so you can kind of process it later when you're functioning higher, and probably I was functioning higher earlier this morning too. The sound quality isn't great on them, but it is there. Go ahead.
How do you, I think that one of the things to always kind of highlight is the student interaction. Like, how are students engaging with this versus some other things that you've done before?
You mean like, are they responsive to it? Yes, I actually, it's funny. So I'm actually having a great year. My year's been fine. I've asked my students because I'm getting a lot of negative, I'm hearing a lot of kind of negative things about what's going on in classrooms and stuff. My kids love this. And I've talked to my daughter about it. I'm like, why do you think they like it? One thing that a student said to me is like, well, I like experiencing, it's like getting your own slideshow, right? It's right in front of you. They're like, I like things on a screen. That's how I experience almost everything in my life. So I actually really like it. My daughter's like, they like it because they play video games when they're not listening to you, which is fine. Like, that's fine if you're like in, because I can see everything they're doing. If they need to take a break and check out, like, I'm okay with that. So I actually get a lot of positive feedback from my students. And they do engage with it. They engaged with it last year. I had a great year last year too. So, you know, some things like uploading your work in the Chromebook aren't as relevant anymore. We do this, and we do whiteboard markers on the desk. And their tests are online too. So between that, it can kind of, but honestly, it's funny to me that most choose this. They choose to show their work on the screen. They like it. Sometimes they send me cute pictures, which is really nice. Because you got a nice selection, so like we're on a pumpkin or whatever, Christmas tree. So pretty good, honestly. And I feel free to not be running the copies, not dragging them from room to room. I was telling this is my cart now, I just take this. And I have a classroom set of styluses, which they've been great with. They return them to me. But the nice thing about this, we're a Chromebook, like we're a one-to-one county. So like, I realize that's a huge privilege, right? But from an equity standpoint, like they can interact with my classroom with their Chromebook that's provided by the school district and their finger. Like if they really have everything when they need when they come in, as long as their Chromebook is charged. And they've done that this year. They know because this is it. This is what we do.
Are your Chromebooks touch screen?
They are. They are. I think I showed the last group of people were asking about how they interact with LMSs, etc. So I'll just show you guys, Desmos Activity Builder is not like embedding in the LMS, so like we're a Schoology school, and it doesn't look great if you embed it, but it's fine if you can just share the link. So if you click on this, you get this link, you copy it into whatever. You drop it as a link in Schoology, you drop it in a link as a link, and you just want to make sure it opens in another application, like an outside window. I can show you guys my Schoology page if you want. No, I'll show you guys I'll show you how some of my students work, actually. I'm sorry, you want that? Did you get it?
Whatever you want.
Someone was taking a picture and then I changed my screen. I felt really bad.
Don't feel bad, I got it.
You got it, okay. So this is an example of like something that you can do in here, just showing you guys. So I'm obviously out this week, because I'm here, right? So this is an example of like the subplans I left behind. I generate this code before I leave. And everything is built into here, so it's literally side by side. I'm not gonna play the video, because I promise you guys I wasn't playing the video. But the students can play the video, right? This is gonna be their notes for the day. They can write it in here while they watch the video over on the right. It's gonna tell them what to write. And then I can even sit from here and see what they're doing, which is really nice. And I'm gonna show you guys some
Not even there yet.
typical dashboards, so you can see what like a real one looks like. Let's see, like this one that has slope on it. It's like this is one where they had to count slope. Anything where you see a dot it indicates the student interacted with that slide. They did something on it. Like here's an example. Like you can see who didn't even sign in. Right? It's nice data too. When someone comes to me, when a parent comes to me and says, why is my child failing? And I can show you what they interacted with, what they've written down in class. It's all there for me to see and keep, which I love. So like, let's look at way over here. These are just sorts, but I don't want one where they actually have to show you the math. That one's multiple choice. Okay, so this is a perfect example. This is something where they had to count the slope. And I can look at this dashboard here, this one, and see, so I can very quickly at a glance, see, I can multi-select these guys, like click, 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 select all these, because you can now provide feedback on more than one at a time, and say, correct, go in here and see where did these guys struggle, what was the breakdown, and provide individualized feedback. Like I can glance and see where they need help. And you can see, like I can see who's actually writing stuff down. I can see if they typed it. I can see kind of, which is great. Anonymize my students, maybe. So I mean, I've had a lot of success with it. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have submitted a proposal if, I mean, obviously, but like, I just am here, like, share a tool that worked for me. And I've had a lot of success with it. And I would hope that maybe somebody else does too. Anything else? Anything else?
We're good.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Oh, the last thing I told the last group, the Desmos community is really responsive. If you hashtag like improve my AB, hashtag MTBOS, like math Twitter blog sphere on Twitter, like people will respond. They're very nice. Like you can get help if you need it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.